Welcome back. We are playing Victoria 3 and we are playing as Japan. Last episode we did our starting steps, which was pretty important for understanding this episode, I suppose. But what we did is in terms of laws, we managed to managed to pass professional army and colonial exploitation. This was because the ruler of our Shogunate party is a Jingoist, which makes them support those laws which they would otherwise not support they would not support the professional army, and these go a long way in terms of disempowering the landowners, which is really what our entire run/start was about. In order to get rid of serfdom, change traditionalism, change isolation, change land-based taxation, we have to disempower and get the shogunate out of government. And so this is kind of the long-term plan. The long-term plan involves empowering and getting the unholy alliance of the industrialists and the intelligentsia in government so that we can get things done. Specifically all the things we need to do, and to that end, we are focusing on industrialization and building, and we get the dual event. So generally speaking, the way you want to look at these is, do you want either or both of these people to die? Now we have the Jingoist shogunate, and we are not going to be passing either of these laws, but we could get a worse role in terms of the shogunate leader, and we have a pacifist industrialist who we're kind of okay with. But he is well liked, so we could put a stop to it. Oh, but they get tarnished honor. Well, this is Japan. Let the duel proceed, but this is pretty high variance. I think that we do not want our popular industrialist to die, but our popular industrialist died. What a horrible way to start the session. Let's take a look at who it is now. We got another pacifist who's disliked. No, because he's a bandit. No, we want this guy to die. That is unfortunate. Oh well, onward and up. So that will actually make his IG group grow slower or attract fewer people, which is a bit unfortunate because we are trying to get a government that looks a little like this, but if you notice, that's not a lot of legitimacy. We need to keep the shogunate in power currently because we have monarchy, which gives legitimacy if you have the guy in the head of government, and also this, if you have legitimacy including them in the head of government. Now notably, we can get rid of this pretty easily by going for landed voting, which we will want to do eventually, but right now we're trying to enact private schools. If we take a look, private schools per level give strength to the intelligentsia, so this is pretty much where we want to go in order to maximize intelligentsia strength and reform. But yeah, we have our queue not completely filled up, so we will be looking to fill out the queue. We have the government admins at the bottom. We don't want to complete those until we need them, so until we enact private schools, and then we will look to complete them. So let's take a look at our market. They will find substitute goods, so having expensive groceries isn't necessarily the worst. Let's look at the PM on groceries and make sure that it is privately owned. It is, so we will actually expand groceries and kick these guys to the bottom of that. And then what else? We're about to unlock atmospheric engine, so we don't want to build more of this at the start. But we will need more tools for the atmospheric engine, so we will do that. We will build one up in Chubu, I suppose. And we will kick that to the top of the queue, because this will be important once we get atmospheric engine. So far for techs, we've been focused on stuff that allows production methods that empower the groups we want, which is why we're actually avoiding something like intensive agriculture, because this just makes more money for the landowners, who we don't want to have more money/power. Although it would make more food. We wouldn't not use these methods, but we're not going to go out of our way to get them. Also, if we build any more farms, we're building them overseas now. We are not building them at home, because in unincorporated states, they don't contribute a lot for Clout. Man, I thought that was the tech we're researching. Terrible. Okay. Eventually, we are going to want to switch to steel pretty soon, so we're probably going to go to mechanical tools next. The reason we're going mechanical tools is, one, it allows steel tools, which we want to transition to before we do railways, and second, it unlocks sulfite pumping as a production method for paper mills. Right now, take a look at our paper mills. They are currently using a PM, pulp pressing, that is merchant guild owned. The other one will be privately owned, see, sulfite pressing, which will employ capitalists instead of shopkeepers. Capitalists, primarily industrialists. Shopkeepers, still primarily industrialists, but not by as big a margin. Okay, so we got some new production methods, which is why I paused. And we're going to go into rural, and we're going to start turning them on. The atmospheric engine pump consumes coal, but not in the coal place specifically. So we're going to turn it on here. And that should take us to quite a bit more coal. I don't think we can turn on all of the atmospheric engine pumps, but we'll turn them on here, because that'll consume 50 coal, and here, and here. And that will consume the excess coal that we're getting, basically, and now we need to produce more coal on top of this. Okay, so we will go to our coal mines, and we will add them to the top of our queue. Now, we will move the stuff that's almost done up, but then we'll do the coal mines next, and then we will be able to turn on the rest of our atmospheric engine pumps. And something that's important to emphasize about the atmospheric engine pumps is if you look at this PM, privately owned, capitalists. If you look at, let's see, oh no wait, if you look here, merchant guild owned, shopkeepers. So again, we are trying to organize every single building we're building around the idea of we're trying to get the shogunate out of government. Now, another start you could do is intentionally provoking a civil war. We are not doing that, although we could win a civil war pretty easily with our barracks. One thing that we did last session, we dismantled every barracks except the one here in our capital, so if we have a civil war, we'll be more powerful, and this way we can pay extra military wages to make the samurai happier without the extra military wages costing a lot. This should probably be rebalanced, because this should be based on the bonus for the high wages should be based on a proportion of how much of your total expenditure it is, not just high, because we're paying plus 30% of almost nothing, which is still almost nothing. And we're about to get our tick, which will be very exciting or very sad. We had to we got a bad tick last time, and so we had to abandon it. This is a bad tick as well. We are going to have to abandon it again. So in 11 months, we'll try again. We could go for landed voting, except I don't think... We want to go for landed voting exactly when we are trying to switch the shogunate out of government, I think. So when we're trying to do this. And what we will get a plus 20 legitimacy, but I think we need this combined score to be at least somewhere in the 20s or 30s for this to be worth it. So we will hold off on that, because right now we are benefiting from the extra authority. So if we take a look at other things we could do, don't really want to pass any of these. And so I think it's waiting. We could put the industrialists in the government. And this is pretty yikes, but most of the stuff we have is going to require both of them now. I don't think there's anything that requires just them. And so let's see what we could potentially get for that. We could potentially go for agrarianism, although it is opposed by the shogunate, so not sharply opposed, but agrarianism would be quite good. I don't think we're passing that with just 8% support and against the shogunate. Per capita taxation, we could go for religious schools, but we really want private schools. Or these are all the ones we can't go for. These are the ones we will be able to go for. I'm just scrolling through, looking for stuff that the industrialists give that is not available just... Well, we're starting to get to the point where maybe we could go for this. I think that we need this... See, it's important that they're not radicalizing. They're just going to, quite far down. The samurai really oppose the change, but the +5 that we're getting from paying them extra coming in clutch if we went for abolish serfdom kind of early here. We could go for local police force. Oh no, wait, no, we don't want local police force. We specifically got rid of local police force. Okay, so what we will do is we will just sit and wait another 11 months as far as laws go. So back to the focus on this stuff. Now we are starting to get a bit of a gold surplus here, so I think we could start turning on some of the iron frame construction centers, which will give us more wood and consume more iron, but we're getting a ton more iron off the atmospheric engine pump. I think once a couple of these finish it, we'll start cranking up the rest of the iron. And we are just getting the construction real high. Notably, Kansai is going to be the most expensive one we're ticking up, and we'll probably wait to be making decent money before doing that. We're going to go a little bit faster. Lead is coming down in price. I don't even know if we turned on the atmospheric engine pump for lead. We did, so that's why it's coming down in price. So we are going to want to wait until we finish the coal. Notably, this would increase the price of tools, which is why we started the tools manufacturer before we finished the atmospheric engine pump. So smart. It's like we played this game before. Lead is still trending down. I think we'll try and sit on this surplus for a little bit to get about halfway, and then maybe we'll turn it on in our capital in terms of using the steel, or sorry, the iron frame buildings. Alright. We will turn this on now. Now we ought to have a lot more iron. Yeah, so the price of iron shoots down, which is a big part of our construction good cost, is the price of iron. And looks like it's rebounding a little here. Mapuche launched a native uprising against us, which is pretty good for us, but we will have to keep one thing in mind. We have, at this current point, no convoys. So what we have to do, we will have no supply for this. So what we have to do is go in development and turn on our cargo ports. I think we will also build a cargo port in here and kick it to the top of the queue. So now we are entering a different era of using cargo ports, because convoys are entirely unnecessary, except in instances like this. Now that Mapuche is uprising against us, we will establish a colony here. And I think we can declare another interest now. So we will declare it here for our third colony. We colonized here first. What is this? Oh, we're currently colonizing them. Right, we colonized up here first, and then down here, and then next we will probably do Klebs/Sawasi. Alright. Now let's see, where do we have not... We will up glass production in Chubu a little bit, which will use more lead, but we have cheap lead right now. And the reason is we want to turn on market stalls, I think. And we'll also take a look what's expensive. Groceries, I think we have one of those in the queue. And what is cheap? What can we turn into something better? Hardwood is cheap? What? Why is hardwood cheap? Okay, if we take a look at the shipbuilder, can we use the second PM? No, we cannot. That requires engines. Notably, this is merchant guilds, so not something we want to like lean into too hard. Ah, this support is not a lot. Is the problem 20% attrition due to... The supply is fine. I wonder why this is only... Why we have such a low score here. This is also a reason to maintain some of the military. So this is going to be apparently a rough battle. Maybe we need to get some small arm production going for this. So we will just build just one. Put it at the top of the queue. It's important to put it in the capital as well. And then I think we will need more iron and coal. And then we will kick these to the bottom. It's also, with a really small military, it is pretty easy to... Now, why are you doing so badly? Why do you have so much defense? I'm not sure I understand. The native uprisings used to be so easy. Well... It says we have full supply. I understand that we have not very good PMs. But why is this guy got 67 defense? I could just defend this front indefinitely, I suppose. But why does he have 67 defense? That's a lot. Why is the number so big? Yeah, I can't possibly advance against that. Why is it so big? Interesting. Well, when I switch the PMs over, maybe it is just a weird... So maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's a malice specific to when you are attacking. I don't understand why it would possibly be this high. This is really high. This is like hyper late game tech. Or poor. I know they recently patched and they were supposed to make them more strong on the defensive, but that is altogether too strong. Maybe it has to do with the fact that we don't have that many convoys, but it looks like we can just wait them out because they are ticking down more than we are. So, will it tick? Oh, can't tick before 0 because we have to. Okay. In that case, we will. I guess we'll build another port in hopes that it does something. Another couple. I'm not sure I understand this. This is a little bit of fixing in real time. It's only defensive, so they don't have this huge score on the offense. But this is like unreal, like... We're also going to switch our PMs mid-war, which is like never recommended. To try and figure this out. I think we won't make any cannons. We'll just make muskets. Yeah, I'm not sure about all this. Let's look at our market. Hardwood is cheap, lead is cheap. A lot of stuff's cheap. I suppose we can mobilize reserves. That seems kind of silly. Or conscript, just to win this war. They won't tick below 0, but they'll tick down to 0 at a pretty good clip. What's white peace even? Can we make that against these? That's so very interesting. I mean, I think it could be a bug too. That's above trench warfare numbers, which is kind of amusing. But we'll switch to these guys using. Oh, we don't even have line infantry PM. Thought we had that already. Whoops, I'm not the brightest. We are tech spreading it, but well, so that arms industry will be pretty useless. I guess we're gonna get a white peace with them and then just keep colonizing them. In terms of outcome, which isn't terrible. It's not good either, but also not ideal that we just built the extra dockyards for nothing. We can set them to anchorages if we wanted. I think we'll do that. I'll set that one to an anchorage at least. We don't need this supply anyway. And I'll turn it on when I need the infrastructure. We are researching mechanical tools. We are going to want to finish some iron. Are you going down? No, you're still 67. I'm going to want to switch to steel tools. Going to want to have cheap iron. We already have cheap iron. We're working on more. We're going to want cheap coal. We're working on that. And so, which we will then turn into steel. So maybe it's just a little more coal. And then steel. So we could switch right away. And then let's see, we will also want sulfur because we're going to use sulfide pumping for the paper. And we will go into our PMs and switch it around the way we want it. Notably, we are not making more efficient livestock ranches because we don't want to make more money for the landowners. But for the sulfur mines, atmospheric engine pump. So it's the PM we want. We unlocked agrarianism, so we could go for agrarianism if we decide to put the industrialists in government. Let's take a quick look. I think that... Oop, not that one. No, wait. Yeah, that one. Agrarianism would be pretty good. The Shogunate only slightly opposes it. I think we would want the Industrialists a little more powerful to go for it. We could also notably start trying to pass private schools again. And I think that I'm really tempted to put the Industrialists in government now. Even though it's going to really slow down our ticks. Ah, they're all jingoist. It's going to really slow down our ticks, but we'll have nearly double the chance. So the government's not too legitimate, but now we have a bonus here. What's this about? Can't advance because this defense is just, it's so large. Like if we take a look at PMs, so we're at like 15 with nothing, right? Because the regular infantry it's like 10, 15. Oh, okay. Trench infantry is 40, 60. So like, how long is this? 5 years. Industrialists are super loyal anyways, so we can just take this. If it did something like disempowering them, we wouldn't, but, yeah, not sure if we try and advance again. We can't turn on the weapons we have. Donation of knowledge, always a wonderful idea. Will help the Intelligentsia. Why it's the unholy alliance. If the Industrialists are doing good, they give you free unis, and the unis make more Intelligentsia guys. Alright, we're gonna finish in 31 weeks our sulfur mine, and this is finishing in 6 months, so about the same time. So the timing will be good. Our Forever War, that will never get resolved because they have 67 defense. I can't wrap my head around it. They have trench warfare. The Mapuche tribes are as strong as trench warfare. It's very reasonable. Probably going to want to add a second steel mill. Now, Kansai, I believe I have a decree there that increases manufacturing, so I do want it to be a bit of a manufacturing hub. I'm going to increase this again. And if we manage to pass this law, we'll kick the government admins up to the stop. That's why we're not canceling them. Why don't we take a quick look at diplomacy? Don't like that Russia's just cautious against us. We have gotten all of Sakhalin, though, which is very big happy. Notably, it is not incorporated, which means the buildings count less towards Clout. Unfortunately, we can't build cotton plantations here, but that would have been the thing to do. They can't even employ all here, so we're going to switch this to an anchorage and also save ourselves some money. Well, somehow this score is always interesting. We've gained some offense. I don't know what from, but I don't think we can advance this front. Because that's a lot of defense. I don't think we can win a single battle. Now, we could switch to line infantry and get this tech kind of quickly, and then try and switch the PM over, and then try and win the war. This isn't going to tick below 0, but they might be able to... They would take white peace, and so we could just keep on happily colonizing them. I think I like this, because I don't think we're winning against 67 anyways, so we'll just white peace them, and then keep colonizing them. So, a little awkward foray into international politics from the Japanese. We will juggle this up, actually, to make the sulfur mine finish a little slower and the steel mine finish a little faster, because we do not need the sulfur until we get our next tech. Let's see how it is. 6 weeks, 5 weeks. Oh, we actually do want the sulfur mine faster. We were so smart until we weren't. And then let's see. Probably, you can never go wrong with more coal, I think. And then, how are we doing? So we can make, the sugar is expensive. One thing that I really in particular don't like is we can't make sugar manufacturers. We can do this, which will make some sugar. And now we could switch over the sulfite stuff. We're going to wait for this to finish. But we can switch over the paper to sulfite mines, which... How much does this make per level? So it makes 40 per level, so we can switch over over 40 worth of sulfite requirement. That's kind of a lot, though. We're going to need a second sulfur mine. We could do this, and then get a second sulfur mine. want them to be non-powerful, so that's good. Once that finishes, now very important to emphasize this, the PM shift of the paper mill is switching them to being privately owned to make the industrialists stronger. And also important to note is don't let your stuff just take... Now it's between canneries and railways, so we're going to take a quick look at how much infrastructure we have in Kansai, because this is kind of important. And I think we're going to do canneries first. Let's also just check social tech real quick. Empiricism would let us do one higher tech. I don't think that's important. This... Archives might be... No, I think it's canneries and then railways. It's a little close. We will want to make more food manufactories, but this way we could switch it to using more fish, so I think we will find where it has the most peasants and isn't Kansai, and we will put in a couple fisheries there. Notably, fisheries do not empower the landowners, so it is a preferred method of getting food. They will substitute fish instead of grain. And then we will want to make more grocers as well. Once this turns on, we can turn on some mechanical tools. Probably a lot, actually, if I recall correctly. Which I might not. Notice our ability to pass the law is ticking very slowly because we have a very low legitimacy, but we have a much higher chance on the private schools, although if we get a bad tick, big sag. Alright, now I think there's no demand currently, so we're going to go to Chubu and we're going to change this to steel tools, which will create a demand for steel. Of course, it creates an instant shortage for steel. Alright, now we need to have a think. We actually want to increase the production of food without increasing the amount of money they're making. So if we switch here on all the livestock ranches, what if we just switch some of them? This is going to make 20 fertilizer. How much fertilizer do we use? We would use 130, 135, and if we do this, we would make 60, so we would have a shortage. But we could make it just short of having a shortage. By turning off like 10 or so requirement, I guess. We care less if they get empowered in the capital, so we'll turn off the capital's use, and so now they will all have fertilizer in it as an input, but the fertilizer will be very expensive, and so they won't make as much money while simultaneously making a lot more food, which is what we want. We want them low profitability and high food output. Okay. Now, I think we can switch to steel tools? Nope. What's the problem here? Oh, the problem is iron's dirt cheap. As an input. We do want to switch though. But now we can start using our iron for construction, I think. So we'll go to Kansai, and we'll switch this over to iron frame, which is going to take a lot of iron. And then we will keep an eye on prices. Atmospheric engine, complete. I think I want the railway faster. These are employing, not very profitable. But that's okay that they're not profitable. Gonna make another... Ooh, actually, we're not gonna make a tooling workshop. We're gonna switch this over to steel. And they will make more steel, and then steel will come down. And then overall we will have much more tools. Yeah, steel came down. Tools will come down. Academic assistance, hell yeah. We don't mind losing the third, but we really want to pass the law. Now that we have a decent, kind of decent enactment chance, we might let this government admin tick a couple times. It's still not completed, but tick it close to completion. Alright, what's expensive? Fertilizer. Perfect. How we drew it up. We actually want it more expensive, though, if we can. So we will turn on the use of fertilizer here, which hopefully this isn't profitable. Yeah, it's not profitable, which is exactly what we want. We want the landowners to not make money, so they become less influential. And we gotta pause because we have unused construction production, which is a sin. Okay, so we need clothes and tools. We do need to expand the tooling workshop. And these are still underemployed by a little bit. Okay, so we will do that, and then we will do clothes somewhere. In a couple spots, actually. And then let's see. What else is expensive in our market? These, and we are going for canneries currently, so we want to build those up a little bit. Oh, they updated it so it says how much infrastructure you have remaining. It's C plus 29 infrastructure. That's such a good update. Okay. We will put it in a couple places that don't have a lot of have a lot of excess infrastructure. Man, we're really building a lot more now that we turn that on. We'll zoom out and see if we can do any diplomatic stuff, because we have a lot of extra diplo. See if we can improve relations with some people. Okay. Gonna tick this to the bottom, kick the fishing wharf up. Very poised to finish 2 of those government admins. We don't want to do it just yet. I think we need more furniture. We will want some in Kansai. Seems fine. Let's take a look at prices again. There's a shortage now. We don't want a shortage of fertilizer, so we will turn this fertilizer back off. Intelligentsia is quite happy with us. Okay. Now, we will want a motor industry at some point. The problem is we have no demand for the motor industry, and we will not have it until we can build railroads. I think we turned on all the paper stuff, but let's double check. We did not, so let's turn it on now. We can work on glass and turning on all the streetlights. So we can make good use of more coal, I think. I don't know if we want to start putting stuff in Sakhalin yet. Yeah, the ticks are really low, or slow, for the laws. Bad legitimacy. But this is notably a law that does not piss off the landowners, so we might be able to go straight from this into abolish serfdom. Let's see, what was that for glass? Are you cheap now? A little bit. Turn on some market stalls. We can now make our building profitable. I think we will just do that next time we have to use the military. We will turn on the guns and finally make this industry profitable, which is horribly unprofitable. Let's take a look. We want the fertilizer expensive. We have some tools in the queue, but we can add more. Certainly not against the rules. And then part of me wants to be able to expand construction again soon. Just gonna take more of this. Subjugation refused. And all. Alright, we're gonna try and turn on some lighting in our urban centers. Gas streetlights. So this makes more engineers and laborers. I think we'll actually be able to turn it on all over. Now about the glass, the market squares. Gonna need a lot more glass. Could turn on a few of them. Interestingly, Samurai has retired. Let's click go to the details screen and not go to the details screen. This is my favorite mechanic of the game. Oh, it actually goes now. Okay, they updated it. We have a traditionalist. That's no good. It's unfortunate. It's not what we like to see. Oh, we got an event. We want to empower the Industrialists, so we will pick that one. That's kind of the axis on which we're evaluating that. Now the two of them are at 20% and the Shogunate's only at 31, so we might go for abolish serfdom next. Because the Unholy Alliance is above 20% and then it'll be half of the combo of the Oppo. We'll have a think on that. Oh, did it descend our colony? It did not. So we still have the Mapuche colony. But it's not ticking. Is that because we don't have one of these? Huh. Cattle, cattle, big sad. We'd love to be able to build cotton somewhere. Might have to just go for clubs. Okay, gotta fix up the queue a little bit because the government admin is showing. We're having employment problems here, so we don't want to expand too much there. I know we don't have too much here. So why don't we do that there, and also that, I guess. And we are working on entirely industries that empower the Industrialists, none that empower the Shogunate. Although, if we take a look at our market, we're starting to suffer a little bit as a consequence of this, because we would want to make like fabric cheaper and silk cheaper, and it's not a problem yet, but eventually it will be. expand that. I think that one's not producing regular glass. I think it's ceramics, but I think ceramics are expensive and it's profitable, so. And I was thinking, if we expand the iron mines, we can expand construction a little bit. You know, we're running a very slight deficit. We could run a little bit bigger deficit. Got quite a bit of radicalism. Very excited for this little tick that we're about to receive. We might have to make a little bit of a scramble to make some government admins, but that's okay. I think the biggest deficit we have is in Chubu and Kansai, which are where we're producing, or actually not in Kansai. So, Private Pop must have bought a small arm. The slow march of time by the very weak industrial. Now, notably, if we reformed government and we took the shogunate out, it goes to 0. So we can't do that. Ideally, that would be ideal for passing certain reforms, and we don't get enactment chance. Don't think we want to eat that government expense. But we don't like the interest. That's unfortunate. That's a bad one for us. Still got 25% or 27% chance. I think my picture is covering it up, so maybe if I'm going to be talking about that, I should go to this, where you see the success, debate, and stall chance. Notably, the stall chance is being driven by Preserve No Schools, the movement. It's one of the problems is the Buddhist monks are so powerful. Another route you can take is you can pass religious schools because it's easy to pass and would still help out for trying to get on track because it gives education access. But you can't pass it if you are, or I think you can pass it if you are freedom of conscience. You can't pass it if you're entirely secular. We're about to get our tech, though, here. After which we will transition into railways, so we will want to build engines, or get them in the queue, I think. I'm going to do it in Kansai. And, we will juggle the engines down like we are the government admins. In order to make sure that we do not accidentally build what we don't want to build. Now, as we are producing iron, we are starting to make a lot more money, because if we take a look, construction good costs are dipping slightly, and they are predominantly iron. We're actually going to make a little bit more wood as well, because our pops consume a decent amount of wood for heating. I think Sakhalin does not have a port. Oh, it does have a port. So we will... I think we want to do fisheries out of Sakhalin. And we will do something to give them a little something to do. The reason we're doing fisheries is because that's merchant guilds. We can't switch it over from merchant guilds very easily. And, yeah, alright. Now, I think it just gives us the PM and, yeah, just gives canning. Which we are very much ready for, because we are producing more of these. And notice, it takes more iron, less grain, and more fish. This is good because we are increasing our food output without really, or we are making grain cheaper for the lower rung pops, because we aren't really, by forcing more consumption of fish. So the price of fish will go up, the price of grain will go down, and the price of groceries will go down. It's kind of the effect that's going to be had. And our higher tier pops will also should become happier with us, I think, because they consume more of the groceries. Our middle class doesn't. They probably have to start substituting more. Yeah, these guys produce a decent amount. And the railways are not too far off. I don't think we have any NAT spread, but we had from some spread from an event. We will be getting them in not too long. I don't think this colony is spreading after we wipe peace. So I don't know. I guess it will not spread as long as we have this. But that's fine. Now we've made a lot of iron. So I think what I'm going to go is go into buildings, construction centers, and look to swap a couple. We're almost all the way swapped to iron frame buildings. Just got like one more tier, like one more 3K worth. Very tempting to do it right now, but I'll hold off. And instead make more iron. It's so nice to see how much infrastructure you have now. We'll kick those both to the top of the queue. And once the ironwork's finished, we will up the construction more. Having a nice bit of development. We are stalling a bit on these enacting the schools, which is a bit unfortunate. I think that we might be able to switch over the glassworks now, or this to... How much glass would this consume? 115? How many cellars do we have? Yeah, we could not do that. Double checking everything's secular. I wonder if we had happier peasants, I guess they wouldn't be doing this oppo, which this group is making it stall out a lot more. But we're getting close to having the power we want with our interest groups here. Especially the Industrialists are really cranking up. Buddhist monks aren't happy, but who needs them? Not me. Kalev's has started to finish its first little bit. So we can make an anchorage here. And then, now we can make some of this stuff without running into an immediate problem, or without empowering the landowners. So let's see what's expensive. It's sugar, but we can't make sugar here. Big Sag. Dies a little bit. So we can make one little dyes manufactory there. And then cry ourselves to sleep later. Because we don't have cotton there. My kingdom for some cotton. My kingdom for this enacting private schools to pass. So you can see 30% success rate. 30% is pretty solid though. We're getting, this is what we're getting from the stall is coming from, not from having people in government. Now, when we try and get rid of serfdom, we are going to have a stall chance by having the shogunate in government, unless we take them out of government, but we can't do that because our legitimacy goes to 2%. Now, if our legitimacy went to like 30%, what we could do is we could look to pass landed voting first and then abolish serfdom, because landed voting would give us 20 more legitimacy. Defamatory article. Well, we don't care about the Inu and Hokkaido. We can't find the employment for this. That's kind of unfortunate. Oh well, people will immigrate eventually. Migrate. That port needs to finish before that dies, because there will be zero market access. And we need to add some more stuff. Unfortunately, sugar's real expensive. So is silk. Or silk's a little expensive. Could make a couple rice farms and have them making fruit, but we really just need the straight up sugar. Well, that's our substitute though, so we will make them here. And we don't care if they use the tools. And we will put the port on top and that on the bottom. Look, what's expensive still? Clippers are getting expensive. Now this place has a throughput bonus for shipbuilding. We take a look overview here. So we will build a shipyard there. Okay. Standard living's not doing too hot. That's okay. It's not really what we're focused on. Focused on trying to get the construction up. What can we do here or here? We don't have the farms we want in these colonies. Maybe it's not the best choice, but we can discover gold in those, so I think it's overall worth it. But in terms of industrial stuff, what's expensive? Tools are expensive, clothes are expensive. So we will focus on that. I think once we build this next clothier, it's gonna really... We're gonna really wish we had more cotton. Although the ranches down here will produce fabric as well, and fertilizer, unfortunately, because we don't fertilizer expensive. But I guess we can do it like that. And then I think we just need one more of these in order to switch over. Let's just switch over to the the last little bit to iron frame. Starting to get a little close to completing. But we still don't want our motor industry just yet. In fact, we will tuck it under this government admin. That way we can raise it when we need to. What's profitable in here? Tooling. And we need more tools. We'll build another tooling workshop here. If we take a look what is demanded, actually I think tools are demanded for engines, right? I think the input, oh, the input is just steel? I guess we could work on another steel one. It is profitable with just this many, so we'll do that. And steel in turn costs iron and coal. Oh, we don't want the livestock actually close to the top of the queue because we need the port first. Okay. There we go. Pure system spreading, very nice. We're getting close to railways. After railways, let's see, what will we do? Mechanized workshop is not spreading to us. Maybe we go nitroglycerin. That's gonna pull down the price of... No, I don't think we want nitroglycerin. I think we want pharmaceuticals. So we can go quinine. Just colonize a bit better. Alternatively... Oh, it's a nice event for us. Of course, passing it's just nicer, but... Our unholy alliance has gotten quite strong. Together, they're almost as powerful as the Shogunate. If we take a look, we could get 24% legitimacy if we switched to landed voting and just had just the two, just the alliance themselves. Which is definitely an option. I think we'll call it a bit of an episode here. What we've done is we've gotten some tech, you know, and really focused that tech on continuing the atmospheric engine, mechanical tools, and now into railways, into trying to make sure that our production methods are oriented towards the people we want, which is the industrialists. We've gotten a lot of failed passings at enacting private schools, but now we're sitting at 51%, pretty poised to take off, and then also poised to make railways next episode. So today, this episode's been a bit of a transition episode, I suppose, where we're getting close. We also really, really turned up the construction, so that's kind of the biggest thing that we did, turning up the heat, as it were, and we are getting ready to kind of turn the corner. I think after this law, it will be taking on serfdom, although that will be kind of painful. I do think that it's not going to radicalize anyone. Yeah, because the samurai and the shogunate like us enough that it's not going to radicalize, so that's good. Notably, the samurai will be taken to -9. So if we don't do that thing at the start of the game, where we fire all the samurai and start paying them way more, then they would be radicalizing off of that, because we have quite a little bit of loyalists that are gotten on the back of them being paid more. Anyways, if you like this episode, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm stuff, and have a good day.